Okay, it's been a while since I've talked about upcoming comic book films. So I figured probably one of the best ones to do is to try to combine the little bit we know of Suicide Squad and Fantastic Four. So for Suicide Squad, Jared Leto currently tapped to play Joker. Okay, this will be the fourth interpretation of Joker done live action. And they're all vastly different. Jared Leto, good actor. Joker is a unique role. It's a role that you can interpret many different ways. I feel like the thing was Cesar Romero's version. Very much kind of the over-the-top kind of goofy, but it worked well within the Adam West version of Batman. Got Jack's version. Jack played it beautifully. Great use of the makeup. Loved the perma grin. And he worked in that kind of, he took it from less goofy and made it like, I'm kind of goofy. I'm going to electrocute you with a joy buzzer. He did things that were more over the top, but he was a killer. Now we go to still my favorite one, the Heath Ledger version, where he's just freaking crazy. And it's like, okay, you've got a guy who looks like a lunatic, acts like a lunatic, but is very compelling. So you've seen it go from goofy campy to campy killer to just nuts. That's the range you can pick from. Alright, that sounds pretty good. Pretty good. Tom Hardy is also potentially going to be in it as well. I dig Tom Hardy. He's not going to be Bane though. He's going to be somebody else. But, not bad. I think he'll bring a unique flair to the role. Okay, I like the way Bane sounded. I thought it was interesting because, a guy wearing like a face mask is going to have a unique sounding voice. Then they've got Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I have not seen any of her work. I did watch quite a few clips of her role in Wolf of Wall Street. And I was like, okay. Blonde girl kind of plays more of the hot girl sort of role. Okay. Current interpretations of Harley Quinn are crazy sex kitten. It's like, okay, crazy sex kitten killer. She looks like she matches the role physically pretty well from the Arkham Asylum versions. This, of course, also ends up being a role that it's part of an ensemble piece. So that works out pretty well. You can get, if you have a lot of people, if you can have someone who's not quite the greatest actor or actress, they might work well in an ensemble. They might be able to play off the other characters and have it work pretty well. So as long as she works well off of Jared Leto, and they kind of get that pseudo Batman the Animated Series sort of camaraderie, if they can have some good exchanges, perfect. Recently, Jai Courtney, who I saw in Divergent, and he was okay. Divergent was just full of wooden acting, so I really can't take that as this is how great you're going to be. As Deadshot. This will now be the third live-action interpretation of Deadshot. And the other two have been pretty good. They're bit characters. They're pretty good. So I like how this is almost shaping up to be DC's Earthbound and Guardians of the Galaxies, because I'm not going to give anyone that much backstory. But a few of these characters have been shown enough times, their backstory's kind of been established. And I'm like, that's pretty good. I like that. That'll work well. Now, Fantastic Four. I read an article where somebody said people should quit complaining about this film. We should quit complaining about the film predominantly because of one reason. The book doesn't sell well. Okay. Book doesn't sell well. Now, I did really, really enjoy Chronicle. I think Chronicle is a very, very underrated film. It came out at a time with very little fanfare, and it was a great way of taking kids get superpowers and making it very realistic. The found footage aspect of it worked. It worked well. It was somewhat light on the special effects. When they did them, it was a lot more of the people emoting their way through the process. So they had some good actors and some decent special effects. And the story was concise enough that it didn't get way too crazy way too quick. However, you can't do that with Fantastic Four. You can't have the Fantastic Four so chocked down in realism. It's not going to work. The Fantastic Four, when you read some of their older work, talking the Kirby style work, it was a family that went into space, radiation was the cool thing, and it was a heavy sci-fi sort of thing. It had aliens, it had these over-the-top concepts. But they were a family. They are pretty much the only superhero group that's entirely related. That's why they're called the First Family. And they have somewhat kind of stupid, goofy moments in it. When you watch the original two movies, the first one had poor choicing for actors. Jessica Alba, I don't know why you picked someone who is obviously a Latina actress and try to whiten her. When you look at Michael Chiklis, let's be honest, he was an amazing thing. Chris Evans, he had the feeling and the sound of the Human Torch. Other characters around them made no sense, like why Maria Menounos would be cool hopping into a makeshift spa in the middle of nowhere after he burst into flames and made a puddle of water. So they couldn't quite balance the humorous aspects with the serious aspects, and Julie McMahon was horribly cast as Doom. Doom had a great origin story, but just horribly cast. Sequel. Same bad casting choices. Beautiful Silver Surfer. Horrible Galactus. And the weird Super Skrull sort of power set. Now all of a sudden we're going with, they get their powers from a portal? Now, if they're setting up the use of a portal and like negative zone energy to try to work in like an Angelus for a sequel, cool. I can dig that. They've now said that Doom is a programmer, an antisocial blogger. When he blogs, that's when he's referred to as Doom. So we're going from like the number 2 or 3 magic user in the Marvel Universe who runs a country and runs it pretty well because he's beloved by his people. Has suits that are pretty close to, they're like our Iron Man quality, and is probably one of the best technical geniuses in the Marvel Universe to a troll. If Doom is now like antisocial blogger / like hacktivist, that's a huge departure from his character. I mean, exactly what's going to set him off on this massive path to put him against the Fantastic Four? Is he going to be the programmer for the portal that makes a mistake? Is he going to have like online beef with Reed Richards, and then he sends like a Trojan virus or a malware to affect the whatever they're going to use to make the portal? It's not looking good. Marvel is currently hyping a film that's coming out next year by pretty much releasing 4 more seconds onto a trailer every single week, and little vignettes and little like screenshots, and makes you go, wow, I feel like I'm going to see this whole film by the time it comes out. And everything from Fantastic Four makes you kind of go, okay, so we've had somebody tell them, whatever you do, don't read the books. We're not going to go off the books. Even though there's enough reimagining of the characters, you could probably pick any story arc and go, we are going to use the characters done from this version, and we will take the story from here, and we're going to try to blend it together with ultra realism. Which is part of the reason why when you watch the Amazing Spider-Man movies, they're missing some of that playfulness that's very commonly associated with Spider-Man. Not everything needs to be done the Nolan way. No. Marvel has struck a tone between you can do a serious film, that's The Winter Soldier. You can do a film that is borderline comedy, like action comedy, in Guardians of the Galaxies. Had Guardians of the Galaxies been done as like Alien, just this straight, by the numbers, or being attacked by somebody, had there been no comedy at all, had it been played as straight as you can play a movie that's got a talking raccoon in the tree, I don't think it would have done as well. Now you're taking Fantastic Four, this beautiful sci-fi concept, stripping out the majority of the sci of it, leaving the fi. For me, it's currently, it has fallen to the range of rental. This is like a Netflix. This is one of those, I'm already paying for the service, have it come to the house. It's not something I'm going to go spend money and see at a theater. Got a 10-month-old at home at the time of the shooting. So it's a pain to go see a movie, and I'm not going to spend $20 to go see a movie. Have to have somebody come here and watch the kid for a bit to go see a film that doesn't seem like it's going to be that impressive. The Suicide Squad is slowly making the transition from rental to like matinee, maybe matinee. There's enough people involved that make it sound interesting enough that it might be worth checking out in the theater.